William, I almost have my handful. How much do you have?
A handful of what?
We'll show you where to get more than a handful of berries next on Garden Time. Welcome to Garden Time. Well, William, I'll share. Here you go.
Thanks, Judy.
We're at Smith Berry Barn, where their fields are filled with berries ripe for the picking.
And the 4th of July is their wonderful annual Berry Festival event. So, you know, the fields are open right now, though. So whether you come out for the event and pick some berries or come out anytime and pick some berries, you're going to walk away the winner.
And later in the show, we'll be talking with Joelle about some of the varieties that they grow here.
We are also going to be showing you trees which have some summer color.
But first, summer blooming perennials.
So, you know, we've done a lot of talking on Garden Time about spring color, and we also thought, you know, we want some beautiful color even into late summer. So we found some beauties out here at Wavra, and I'm here with Diana. How are you, Diana?
I'm great.
So we're going to talk about these plants and you know, talk about what they are in the garden, what they like, and really jump into them because they have some great color.
They sure do. So a fairly new one on the market is actually the Gerber daisy, and this is a perennial. So it is hardy to zone 7, 0 degrees. And this is a fascinating variety because usually with like the Gerber daisies, you'll get like 1 or 2 flowers at a time, just kind of sporadically. This one gives you several flowers at a time, and as you can see, you're still getting buds coming up.
Right, and I do see that, you know, some of the older species actually had bigger flowers, but this has a lot of them, and they're just as beautiful.
It sure does, and it's also got the longer stems, so you could use them in a bouquet as well.
Wow,
it does love the summer heat, and it loves to be hot and on the drier side.
So does that also mean full sun then?
It does.
Okay.
Usually full sun works best just to give you so much color on those.
Perfect.
It can be put in a pot, it can be planted straight into the ground.
Wonderful.
And be very comfortable.
And of course, I love these plants. Tell me about this
So
one.
this is our agapanthus. This is headboard blue.
Wow.
This is one of our tropical varieties. This one is hardy, whereas some of the agapanthus aren't quite as hardy. This one's going to bloom most of the summer. It's going to hold on these great blue flowers.
Nice.
It does like to be hot in full sun, and it does like to be watered. So it's usually one you want to put by a sprinkler or make sure you have access to water.
Or if there's even a place when you like water your yard that stays really wet all the
Or
time,
even
that would
like,
be a great location.
even like on the edge of a pond. If you
Yeah,
have like a little
yeah,
pond, that'd be perfect, or a waterfall.
And you know, speaking of tropical stuff, I still love cannas so much. Tell me about this
Well,
one.
the canna just adds that tropical flair to your yard that you usually
Right.
don't get with most annuals and perennials.
True.
So this one's going to get about 3 to 5 feet tall. It's going to give you some great summer color and bloom almost all summer long.
And 3 to 5 foot is nice because, you know, there are some that can get so tall.
Right.
So that's a nice shorter
It's a
level
nice
of it.
height. You don't really have to worry about blowing over in the wind. I mean, it's just a little more manageable to mix in with your other perennials.
And I have to say, I was surprised I saw Astrantia out here because they've always been a spring bloomer, but this is a new one, so tell me about this.
This is a new one. This is called Star of Billions.
Beautiful.
It started blooming early summer, and it will continue to bloom late into summer. And it's nice to have that white color. A lot of people are trying to do more white in their garden, that moonlight garden look. It will go full sun. The nice thing about this variety is it is a little bit taller, and so it can be used as a cut flower.
And I love that too, but I love the idea that it's white because, you know, a lot of these colors kind of disappear in the evening and the night.
Yes.
You're still going to see those little spots of white out there in the garden.
You sure are.
Beautiful.
It's just a very cute little flower.
And I love this. Tell me about it.
This is a
Beautiful,
brand
beautiful.
new proven winner's salvia
Wow.
called Rockin' Deep Purple. It's going to bloom all summer long. It gives you some nice height. It can either be planted in the ground, full sun, of course, for best color. It will take a little bit of shade. You will want to deadhead, so by that, when this flowers all the way up to the top, you are going to want to nip this one stem out, and that's going to cause some more branching and some more flowers to pop up.
And I have to say, I've not grown this specific one, but when you look at this, you've got new buds that are going to take a while to come open anyway. I would bet by the time this one's done blooming, if you snip there, you won't even hardly notice it.
You're not
because
going
of
to
the other
notice.
one. Wonderful,
No, and it's
clever,
going to get
thank
some
you.
gorgeous height to it. And it's also a great hummingbird magnet. They've
Yeah.
just been very
Yes.
busy on this plant.
And I have to say, I do love Abutilons with all of my heart. I have them at home already, but this is a kind of different one that I've seen.
This is one of the fairy corals. It's going to also have some great height to it for either a container or the ground. It's going to go full sun. The nice thing about this is the little lanterns, especially being kind of that orangey color, are going to lead you right into fall.
That is clever, and I would bet hummingbirds love this one as well as the other ones. And then, is this a hardy one then? Have we?
Unfortunately, they do need a little bit of protection in the wintertime, so it's one of those that you could bring inside, or you can treat it as an annual. It's going to grow big enough this year that's going to give you some nice height, be like a little shrub in the yard.
Wonderful, wonderful. And you know, my grandmother used to grow cleomes in her garden in Texas. I love that you have this one out now.
And this is a fun one. This is called Senorita Rosalita. And so it's just kind of got that cute tropical little summer name to it. It's going to bloom all summer long. It's a great hummingbird and butterfly magnet.
And then we have to finish up with, of course, hydrangeas, because we have to love these.
Well, everybody's got a spot in a shade, and this is just a fabulous variety called Let's Dance Diva.
Beautiful. And then are you a big believer in fertilizing blooming plants extra? Do you do that?
Well, especially in the summertime, I like to do a little bit of Osmocote or like a slow release fertilizer in early spring, and then just do some liquid feed throughout the summer to promote continuous bloom and growth.
Perfect. Well, you know, this is a great selection of plants, and if you think I'd like to get some of those, you can go to gardentime.tv. We'll click over to the Wavro website. You can come out, visit with her, ask even more questions, and maybe buy even more plants. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming.
Garden Time is brought to you by Capital Subaru, your way on the Parkway.
Your car does more than get you where you need to go. It helps you live the life you love. At Capital Subaru, we're 100% dedicated to finding what works for you. And with a wide selection, personalized service, and plenty of perks, you won't need to go anywhere else to find it. Let us help you make the most of your day. Come shop your way on the Parkway.
Seek adventure this summer in the roomy and fuel-efficient new 2018 Subaru Impreza 2.0i all-wheel drive 5-door. Lease it now, just $170 per month at Capital.
Capital Subaru, your way on the Parkway.
Over the 30 years that our family has been in the nursery industry, we've learned that anyone can supply a customer with plants and garden supplies. But it's supplying those plants and supplies backed by a knowledgeable staff that can transform a garden and take it from ordinary to extraordinary. That's what we do at Sagawa Nursery. Why be ordinary when you can be extraordinary? Sagawa Nursery, growing beyond the ordinary.
When you plant your flower baskets and containers this year, consider Black Gold All-Purpose Potting Mix for the best results. This worm castings enriched, well-drained potting soil has a controlled release fertilizer to feed your plants up to 6 months. Black Gold All-Purpose Potting Mix now contains resilience for enhanced plant growth. Available at garden centers everywhere. For more information, visit blackgold.bz. All the riches of the earth.
A destination farm and garden market featuring the very best each season has to offer. Smith Berry Barn offers seasonal farm fresh fruits and vegetables and specialty herbs and perennials. Visit the historic barn for distinctive gifts, gourmet foods, and homemade milkshakes. Join us for our annual Berry Festival with fresh berries, live music, and lots of family-friendly fun. Centrally located off of Shoals Ferry Road between Sherwood and Hillsborough. Smith Berry Barn, growing good taste from the ground up.
I'm at French Prairie Perennials this morning with Rick Naylor. And Rick, you have so many beautiful plants, but we're just going to focus in on Japanese maples today.
Well, not necessarily Japanese maples, but we want to talk about maples that have great foliage.
Oh, okay.
For the summer, and even dogwoods too.
Oh, okay.
Because a lot of times, you plant a shade tree or something, it's kind of boring and just kind of green, whatever. But we want to talk about some really bright colors for your yard.
Nice. Well, and I know that when you go out and do visual scaping, you put so many different colored plants, and I think that's really kind of what you like to do when you do designs. Right. So you're going to help us do that in our yards.
Absolutely, absolutely. The first one we have here is called Aster campestre carnival.
Pretty.
This is a hedge maple discovered in the Netherlands. And what's great about this plant is it grows very slowly, so it could be a good container plant.
Nice.
But it also likes a fair amount of shade. So it doesn't have to be full shade all day, but at least a half a day of shade would be good for it. Anyway, so it introduces some really bright colors into a shady area. And if you have a small garden, it's not going to get that big, and you can kind of regulate its growth a little bit too.
And the early foliage is pink?
Yes, it is. Comes out with blotches of pink, and then it goes to this white with this green variegation.
Nice.
So.
And then this other one that's so pretty, that's right next to us.
This is Acershire Swanum Moonrise. And the great thing about this plant is it changes color with the season. Comes out in the spring completely a bright pumpkin orange.
Ooh.
And then it'll kind of change color. The newer growth will have some splotches of red in it. You'll get some chartreuse colors in it. Some of the veining will have some of the orange in it still. So it's a beautiful, beautiful plant for the summer. And then in the fall, it's going to go back to that very, very bright pumpkin orange.
Wow, wow.
It's a bigger tree. You know, it's going to get 20, 25 feet by a 10 to 15 foot spread. So it gets fairly large, but it's it makes quite a show in the garden, right?
That is
exactly.
nice. Well, you do have some other plants that we want to talk about, so let's go over there.
Sounds good.
Rick, these are two unbelievable ones too, so tell us about these trees.
Well, the first one is native to the Esk Valley of New Zealand. It's called Esk, technically Esk Sunset. A lot of people call it Eskimo Sunset. I don't know how it got that name other than just probably because of the Esk part. But anyway, it's a cross between a maple and a sycamore.
Oh.
And it's an Acer pseudoplatanus. And the great thing about this plant, and we use this in visualscaping, we use this a lot as a focal point tree because it is a tree you're going to want to have out there in front where everybody can see it. The main attraction to this tree is the underside of the leaf is a very bright pink.
Wow.
So when the wind blows, you get this pink that kind of shows here and there as the leaves move around. But then also you get the variegation on top, and a lot of times the variegation is not the same. It's different on different leaves, right? So, and this will have more pink on the top too in the spring when it first comes out. But it's a very, very showy tree. It's going to get fairly large over time. It's not a super fast grower, so it's not going to get there quickly, but over time it can get 25, 30 feet.
Wow, that is beautiful. And then to the right of that, this variegated one.
This is Cornus alternifolia variegata, or some people call it the wedding cake tree. And this one will also get quite large over time, but again, it's another very slow grower. And the attraction of this tree is it kind of grows like a wedding cake, so it's going to be layered in its growth habit. But again, it has this very bright variegation of green and white. And sometimes you'll get, as we have here, where you'll get
all white.
Some growth that comes out that's just all white.
Wow.
You'll get that occasionally, but the great thing about it is it also flowers. It's kind of a nondescript flower. It kind of reminds me of like a lace cap hydrangea kind of flower, like the climbing hydrangeas, you know, where it's a very open flower. But it does flower, so that's the other good part of the tree. But it's another tree that'll take sun or shade, and it's one of my favorites also to use as a focal point.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, really, this is just a small percentage of what you can see out here at French Prairie Perennials. So go to gardentime.tv. We'll click you over to Rick's website and come out at this beautiful place right in downtown Aurora. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Judy.
Garden Time is brought to you by Portland Nursery, a passion for plants, a nursery for plant people.
Do you want to be green? Do the easy stuff first. Hi, I'm Sarah from Portland Nursery. The U.S. House Energy and Commerce Committee says for every $1 spent on a shade tree, you can save $5 on cooling, blocking the penetrating heat in the summer and allowing the warm rays through in the winter. Dollar for dollar, there's no better energy and money saver than a good, deciduous shade tree. Portland Nursery's professionals can help you make the perfect selection. Portland Nursery, a passion for plants, a nursery for plant people.
It's the Standard TV and Appliance store-wide sale going on now.
Save big. Huge price cuts on appliances and mattresses. Get an LG front-load washer with steam, only $634. Or a Samsung stainless steel French door refrigerator, only $1049. Save big on a stainless steel Frigidaire dishwasher, only $399. Plus, get a Beauty Rest Queen mattress for just $399.
Hurry! Standard store-wide sale ends soon. Standard TV and Appliance.
Since 1982, the Wall has been making local gardens beautiful, naturally. Whether you need a new wall, concrete patio, fire pit, or driveway, the Wall's expert craftsmen can build it. We back up our work with a 5-year warranty, so you'll know it'll last. We use the highest quality materials, including stamped colored concrete, natural stone, and we're the leader in using recycled concrete. Create an outdoor environment you'll enjoy for years, with the help of your friends at The Wall.
Welcome to Blooming Junction, where it's easy to connect with nature. At Blooming Junction, you'll find beautiful, healthy plants, good, fresh food, and a place to regain peace and calm in your life. We have an unsurpassed collection of unique and distinctive plants and the expertise to help any gardener be successful. And we feature blooming advantage plants. Come check out Blooming Junction for an inspiring experience in the garden or in the kitchen. Blooming Junction, offering quality plants for beautiful gardens.
Well, I am really happy to be standing in a berry field. I'm here with Joelle from Smith Berry Barn. And you know, Joelle, I think a lot of times we Americans forget that it takes work to grow produce, and it takes a loving, good amount of work to do it.
That is true.
And things change. Some berries come and go. What I like is you have a couple of new varieties that you're doing this year. Tell me about those.
We do. So we've planted a couple of new varieties here just to kind of keep things healthy and our season expanded. And so we're going to talk about our obsidian blackberry today. This is a variety that was developed by Oregon State University along with Washington State University. We're fond of both of those schools.
Right.
And it's a cross between a Marion and an Olalley blackberry. And what it does is it gives us a chance to harvest a couple of weeks prior to a Marion berry.
Wow.
So we get it, oop, that popped right off.
So that means it's ready, huh?
Exactly. That's one of the things we were going to talk about is how to pick a proper blackberry. So you want to kind of tug on it, and when it pops right off, we know it's ready. It also has a little bit smaller seed, so it's a really good, good quality, flavorful berry. Comes on a little bit earlier and has a little bit fewer seeds in it.
Right. It sounds delicious. So, Joelle, this isn't the only new one you have, though.
Correct. So we also have a new thornless boysenberry.
Oh, wow.
We grow boysenberries traditionally, always have, but we do have a new thornless one, which is kind of nice for picking. No little prickles. Although ours are pretty well growing, you can see these how they're kind of right out in front of your face.
Yeah, you actually grow them to make them easier to pick for people.
Yes,
Okay.
but we do have the thornless boysen that will be ripening very soon.
And then there's another new one, but we're going to go over here now to where that is, all right?
Sounds
Let's go
good.
on over there now. So, Joelle, this is the tayberry.
Correct.
I really know very little about it. But because it's not brand new. Really.
No, correct. So tayberry is not new, but it's one that I feel like people don't know as well. So it was developed in the 1960s. It's a cross between a blackberry and a raspberry. So what's unique about it is it has the appearance of a raspberry in that it's a little more reddish, and it has that dusty appearance that a raspberry has. It has the shape, though, of a blackberry, and it also holds its core. You can see inside the core there of a blackberry.
Because when you pull a raspberry, you actually see the little core still stuck on, but this you won't see that with.
Yeah.
And I have to say, you gave me one to try, and I've heard everybody was saying it kind of tastes like the flavor of flowers. I didn't know what that meant. It really did.
It does. They're very unique, and some people don't like them. We recommend you try, come taste them. But they make great pies, they make great jam. They're really, really tasty.
And you know, since we've been talking about berries, it's that festival time of year. Tell me about it again.
So Berry Festival is on July 4th, the day, from 11 to 4, and we have live music, we have our barbecue going, we have wine tasting, fun for the kids, we have alpacas that we bring in from a neighbor, and it's fun.
And then we can get here then that day too, and if people want to come celebrate, then that's a great time to taste and maybe pick some and take them home.
Right.
So there you have it. You know, this is a great event. It's always fun, and all of these berries are delicious in their own way. And if you think, I love berries, then you can even expand that taste for yourself and get more. Go to gardentime.tv for more information, because we'll click you over to their website, which is a great website too, with lots of information right there. Thank you so much, Joelle.
Thank you.
Every season's fun with you.
Thank you.
I'm with Roger Gossler down at Gossler's Nursery in Springfield, and we really want to talk about an event coming up next week in the area.
Okay, it's the Garden Conservancy Tour, which is a group that is trying to save great American gardens to get them from from a private garden to a nonprofit.
So we can all go see it.
Right. And there's gardens around the country. It began with Ruth Bancroft's garden in Walnut Creek.
Oh.
And they do that, and then they try to save smaller gardens that they have local workshops around the country for smaller nonprofit type gardens.
Oh, so how can we help? By going to this tour, right?
Right. It's a fundraiser for the Garden Conservancy, and it's open next Saturday from 12 to 4. There'll be 4 gardens open in the Eugene area. And there's some really incredible gardens that are not normally open to the public.
Oh, that is nice. And it's one company that has done the first 3, right?
Right. It's Mosaic Landscape, and they're local landscape designers that do beautiful things, a very hardscape kind of thing. of very, very hard lines, and then very, very lush plantings. They'll do, instead of doing 3 or 5 of something, they'll do 20 of something.
Wow.
Of hellebores or ferns or that kind of thing. And they do a lot of different ferns and different things to tie it all together.
Neat. And then what's the fourth one?
It's the Northwest Garden Nursery, Ernie and Marietta O'Byrne, that are famous for their hellebores, and they're open all year, but people only know that they have the hellebores in late February and early March, but it's a beautiful garden the rest of the year, and it's open to the with an appointment. Just call their phone number, and they're welcome. Glad to have people come out.
But to see it in the summer is really something, because it's so different than the spring garden. So really your opportunity to see it. So the Garden Conservancy is a national group, and so who's the local area here?
It's the Willamette Valley Hardy Plant Group. We're a small group, much smaller than Portland is, but we have not done this in years of having Garden Conservancy tour. But we just thought it was a very good opportunity to let people know about the Conservancy and give a little advertising for the Hardy Plant Group.
So how can we get tickets?
They can be bought online if they do it right away, but they're mailed out. So the best thing is that to go online to the Garden Conservancy, Eugene, Oregon open days, and that will pull up the different gardens, and they can just go directly to the gardens and buy the tickets there.
So really it's a worthwhile charity to go to, and you can help all of these other gardens that need to be preserved all across the country. So go to gardentime.tv, we'll click you over to that website, and maybe you can all come down to see these beautiful gardens next week. Thanks so much, Roger.
Thank you.
Is your garden getting tired? Don't let your garden fizzle out because of the summer heat. Stop by Wavra Farms for a refresher in summer color. We carry a great selection of plants that love the summer. Give your garden the splash of color that it deserves. Your outdoor entertaining will be more enjoyable when you are surrounded by beautiful plants, wonderful flowers, and great fragrance. Let us show you what a summer garden should be. Wavra Farms, just east of Salem, off Highway 22 at the Joseph Street exit.
2 stages, 25 shows, 1 sweet weekend. It's the 26th annual Oregon Jamboree presented by Boulder Falls Inn, starring Brett Eldridge, Brantley Gilbert, Maren Morris, Low Cash, Jared Neiman, and Diamond Rio. The Oregon Jamboree happening August 3rd through the 5th. Tickets and camping on sale now at OregonJamboree.com.
In the summer months, water use can double or triple due to outdoor watering. Here are 3 simple tips to help save water and money this summer. Set your sprinklers so that they're watering your lawn and plants and not the pavement. Water early in the morning or later in the evening when temperatures are cooler. Group plants with similar water, shade, and sun needs together. For more water conservation information and tips, check out the Regional Water Providers Consortium at www.conserveh2o.org.
At Garland Nursery, you'll find
top quality plants,
4 generations of garden know-how,
fun and fantastic garden decor,
and the best in garden supplies.
Come visit us at Garland Nursery.
Since 1937, inspiring beautiful and bountiful gardens.
So I'm standing here with Steve Schreiner. Now generally when I'm with Steve Schreiner, we're at Schreiner's Iris Garden. Well, we still are at Schreiner's Iris Garden, but Steve, now we are in the daylily fields, and you guys have started just this year shipping daylilies and selling them. So that's not something you really have never done. You've done it a long time ago with daylilies.
That's right. From the late 50s to about the early 70s we did it. And then our iris business grew, so we didn't have time to do daylilies anymore.
And now, because you have so much time, you thought, let's do daylilies, right? So you jumped into this. The fields are stunning. Tell me about this, because it's a different type of daylily.
Well, I'm holding it by the scape here, and this is called a spider daylily because the petals, the 6 of them here, go off in all different directions like the legs of a spider. it's quite striking. There's some different patterns of daylily
Right,
flowers.
right. And then one of the things, I think people are always saying, I've heard this question a lot, well, why do they call them a daylily?
That's right.
Does it bloom during the day?
No, it blooms, each flower blooms one day. So you can see, for example, here's one that bloomed maybe yesterday.
Oh, and then they just dry up and fall off, so they only are open one day.
Right, but there's so many buds that you get a pretty long bloom season, and we say thank goodness for daylilies because we wish there were more flowers that would be so beautiful at this time of the year.
Well,
there's not so many.
And there are some different daylilies, so
Yes.
let's go look at some of those varieties, Steve.
Okay.
Okay, so we're kneeling before, I believe the name of this one is Ultimate Design.
That's right.
And clearly you can see why when you look at it, because it is absolutely beautiful. But how many varieties did you guys actually grow?
We have 500, William, and they're all on our website, every one, and we're shipping from now until September 15th.
And so we could literally go online and order them today.
Definitely.
If you want. Okay. Well, then let's go. I know how to take care of that one old-fashioned golden, daylily that everybody used to have. Is there something different with these because they're so beautiful? What do you do to care for them?
Well, I think the culture is pretty much the same, but after all, these really are fantastic daylilies. These are many jumps ahead of the daylilies that we're used to seeing. These are hybridized by the great renowned daylily hybridizer Bill Marriott down in Watsonville, California, and but we're growing them up here, and so we're only going to be selling varieties that do well in our cold climate. And the culture for these is they're heavier feeders. They need a balanced fertilizer like a triple 14, and also they need to be watered in the summertime twice a week down to their roots. That's important too. And they need sun. I mean, really, they need all day sun to do their best. So.
Well, I have to say that all of that makes sense to me because even feeling the flower itself, the petals are just almost like plastic. They're a much thicker plant.
Yeah.
And a lot more just blooms everywhere. So it makes sense they would need more fertilizer and water. And so I think if you guys are interested in daylilies, you certainly should come out and go to gardentime.tv. We'll click you over to their website, and then you can order them still this year to try them out in your own garden. Steve, I thought irises were amazing, and now daylilies too. Everything you do here is stunning. Thank you, my friend.
It's always a pleasure having you come and visit, William, and it's always nice to hear that you say that everything we do is stunning.
Well, look at you, my friend. Judy, do you have any more berries?
There you go. Well, your chance to get your hands on some berries are anytime at Smith Berry Barn, but especially during their festival on July 4th.
Now, as always, for more information on this show or the other wonderful events that are happening right now, you can go to gardentime.tv.
We thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week here on Garden Time.
The proceeding was a paid program of the Guston Creative Group and its sponsors.